Welcome in,
We're live.
everybody, to another Scarves and Spikes, this time an emergency episode, because as Samuel has put in our chat, ladies and gentlemen,
We got him.
we got him.
Jürgen Damm!
Not
Miguel
Jürgen Damm.
Almiron has returned home. Not Jürgen Damm. So how do y'all feel?
Big day. Big day for Atlanta United.
It's
I mean,
surreal.
not a surprise, obviously. We knew it was coming, but it's official. He's coming back. 3-year deal, option for a fourth. Sounds like he might retire in Atlanta, which is big. So it feels good. It's a good feeling to have him back on board. Obviously, Atlanta means a lot to him. And interested to hear what the fans think. Sounds like almost unanimously fans are for the move. So all he has to do is get back on the field. And yeah, February 22nd is going to be, gentlemen, fever pitch from Miguel Almiron back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Off
Fever
the
pitch.
chain. Off the chain. Henry, how you feeling?
I'm speechless.
Speechless.
Like, today has been wild, a crazy day. Like, man, I can't speak. It's just, no, honestly, like, I didn't, if you'd told me 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, that Miguel Almiron would be back in Atlanta for 2025, I would have told you you're crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed it. I did not think that he would actually be back, but
Right.
he is, and this is huge. Not just because of the amazing player that he is, but because of what he means to the city. And I've been speaking to several fans already who have told me that, yeah, I mean, he means so much to them. They have so many great memories of them, of not just watching him play, but taking pictures with him and meeting him and interacting with him. And, he's just a great character, a great guy. And it's going to be good to have him back. So I can't wait to see him in the Benz again. Yeah. February 22nd could not come sooner enough.
And obviously, it might not just be him. I mean, I'll let you laugh as we're recording this. So if you're listening on the podcast feed, we're doing this Thursday night, 7 p.m. So by the time you hear this, maybe it's Friday morning. It could be across the lane. So things are kind of rapidly happening, Tyler, Henry. But I agree with Henry. I think if you told me that Miguel Almiron is coming back like a year before today, it'd have been surprising. But Tyler, I mean, I know how you feel, obviously. Can you put it into words?
I'll try my best. And while I get ready, really quick, because this is a special episode, y'all, drop your comments, drop your stories, your Miggy stories, right? Because this is round 2. Like, we want to hear, we want to see what you guys, what the memories are from the first time he was here.
Yeah,
He's back.
if you're watching the online on YouTube after the live recording, definitely leave comments.
Yeah.
Let us know. If you're listening on the podcast feed, by the way, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, just search Scarves and Spikes. You should be able to find it easily. Let us know on social media what you think. We want to hear, like Tyler said, those stories, your memories of Miguel Almiron. Hopefully he makes new memories with his second iteration with Atlanta United.
There are a lot of things about this game that are easy to fall in love with, right? I mean, you have the atmosphere, the vibe, you have those players that you just stick to. You feel like you know them personally. I think 2017, 2018, that was like a hallmark of that version of the club, because it just felt like, everybody called them La Banda. They were the guys who were just you felt like you could go out and have a beer with these guys, right?
Yeah.
Being a child of the 90s, the Dragon Ball Z celebration was the first time I saw it. I was like, these are my people. These are my people. And, I think when you see the success, it's easy to be excited about what they did back then. Right. And we've gone years and on this show preach, like, love the early years, but it has to evolve. It has to move on. Right. But it's okay to have that nostalgia
Yeah.
right? It's okay to have that nostalgia moment and just be excited about the guy coming in. He is universally loved at this club. And look at what Newcastle put out today. How much they're going to miss him. I mean,
Yeah.
you have, people from around the club just talking about how good of a person he was, how he put in the work day in and day out. And those are the same stories that we heard about Miggy the first time he was here. He's just that kind of club icon right there with
Beloved.
Joseph. Absolutely beloved. And I'll do my best to put it in words, but I am absolutely stoked for this guy to be back in Atlanta, Georgia. I am, dude. It feels surreal because I'm talking as a fan, not as a journalist. This is like, I don't know, man. It's just exciting, and it feels like the closest thing that this club has had to a little bit of that magic from
Yeah.
the early years in a very long time.
Yeah. I wrote about it on scarfsandspikes.com. Is this are the vibes, have the vibes been as good as they are right now? We look back, obviously 2018, you want MLS Cup, 2019, going into 2019, the expectations, even though the board took over as head coach, are, hey, can this team get back to MLS Cup and win and repeat for the first time since the LA Galaxy did it? So the vibes were high back then. I don't think they've been as high as they are right now because you have Almiron coming back, you have Latte Lath, that essentially is done, just needs the official announcement. So I would argue they're as high as they've been. Now, the big question is, can Atlanta United capitalize on these new players well, not new players for Almiron, certainly what they love, but can they capitalize on this opportunity? Right now, you have no excuses, especially with Almiron. Almiron, I love to see him as a leader because he's 30 years old. He's been a professional for years, so he can help the younger guys grow and develop, especially those that are just coming up from the academy. Saying, "Hey, I know this culture. I know what it's like to be an Atlanta United player. Let me help you. Let me help you grow as a player, as a professional, as a person." So that's one of the key things that I want to see from Almiron. I think he'll take that challenge because, as we said, guys, he's just that consummate professional, well liked among everybody. I don't think anybody can say a negative thing about Miguel Almiron. I feel like the only negative thing, if you're a Newcastle fan, you can say is maybe the stats weren't all the way there, but he was a beloved figure. They loved him. He was their person, and now he's coming back to Atlanta. And again, vibes are high.
Can we just appreciate I want to say like how perfect the setup to this grand kind of Miggy coming back. I don't even know how to call it, this grand return, I guess.
Yeah,
Like the number 10 jersey is available. It was available. And, you know, Atlanta, obviously, they had the whole, you went and beat Miami in the playoffs. You had this whole thing. And it's like, okay, Atlanta has a huge offseason ahead. Who can they bring in? You got a new coach. You got a new everything. It's like, okay, now suddenly Charlotte is in for Miguel Almiron,
yeah,
and the whole Atlanta United fan base is losing their minds. They're like, no, this can't happen. He can't fall to the dark side. And
yeah,
that continues for, I want to say, like, they were interested in him for a solid couple of months. At least from last summer. I think there were the first rumors came out last summer.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, please no, oh, please no, please do not, no, por favor.
right.
And then suddenly, like, that interest kind of fades back, and then out of nowhere, it's like Atlanta's interested in Miguel Almiron, and
Yeah,
it's like, the reality kind of comes in of like he could actually come back. And at first, it
yeah,
was like it's not advanced; it's just a possibility, and then it's like, oh no, this is advanced, and then this was close to done, and now we're here after it's already been announced and everything. Atlanta United's first number 10, their second designated player ever,
yeah,
is back. And
yeah,
I am so excited. I don't care what anyone says. He is one of the best wingers in the league already. I but no, but I do expect him to
Here we
to
go.
be huge. And,
Free, baby.
and we've talked about his qualities a lot. We've talked about his pace. We've talked about he's now a more seasoned player, and I think he's only going to bring out,
You can speak English
the
now.
best. He speaks
Yeah.
English. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that. He speaks English now. Communication is gonna be easier.
Yeah.
And he complements really well having two wingers in Saba and Miggy, who will just be able to run down the flanks, and Alexi is going to be able to play his through balls that he does so well into these runners, and Latte Laugh even, because he's a fast runner too. Like, this roster looks so good right now. I'm excited to see the ceiling. The ceiling is definitely, to me right now, Supporter Shield. That's the ceiling right now.
It's big talk. Big talk.
I know it's big talk, but look at this roster. Look at the players that they have and the quality, the resources that have been invested in this transfer window.
Yeah.
This is a team that can win this season. But again, we've done this whole song and dance before. What you see on paper is very different than what'll happen on the field. So ultimately, we still got to wait and see. But I think fans have very good reason to be excited about what 2025 could be for Atlanta United.
And I know, Tyler, you're talking about, if you're listening, of course, on the podcast feed, we're doing this live. So we have people in the chat on YouTube and X talking to us. You asked about people with their memories of Miguel Almiron. Joe B said he wasn't a soccer fan before 2017. His son was beginning soccer like around 5 or 6, he says. And then his memories of, we joke about Miguel Almiron running that ostrich run that he has.
Right.
So that's Joe B's memories of Miguel Almiron. But I imagine there are other stories like that around Atlanta United fans. Their first memories of seeing Miguel Almiron, the snow game in Minnesota, the absolute peach game, Kevin Egan's pretty much his iconic call as an Atlanta United commentator, play-by-play man, I should say. The hat trick game, just so many memories that he's provided. And what other memories can he provide in the second tenure with Atlanta United? Here's a question that I have. Speaking of wingers, of course, you have Saba on the right, and I would imagine Miguel on the left. What does that mean for Xande Silva?
I think they'll be swapped, personally.
You think they'll be swapped? Saba on the left, Miggy on the right?
I think so.
They can both play either side, but Miggy's played more games on the right. So
right. Okay. Well, but still the question remains, though, what does that mean for Xande Silva? A play like Xande Silva, as you kind of talk about what the kind of halo effect this has on the Atlanta United roster, because he now no longer is going to be starting at that left wing spot. What does that mean for him? What does that mean for his future with the club? Does he stay around as a quote unquote super sub? What does that mean for a player like Evan Mosquera? I imagine he sticks around as a backup to Saba on the right or left, wherever. I think those are questions that we need to ask now that this is official. What do you guys think? I guess.
Well, first of all, got to give a quick shout out to Kevin. Kevin, thank you for the $20.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks so much.
Truly appreciate it. I mean, I think he's got to step up his game. At the end of the day, I mean, that's what Ronnie Dyla is trying to implement. He wants, like any good coach, he wants competition, right? But I mean, it's not as if you have a guy who doesn't have the talent. Xande Silva has the talent. We saw it. We've seen it. It's there. But he's got to get, whether it's out of his head, something. He's just got to get back in the right vibe. And he can do it. He really can. But at this point, like, he is the backup winger, period. Like, he's
$600,000 backup.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where you're at.
It is what it is, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, there could be worse positions, right, for a player to be in than being a backup winger behind Miguel Almiron for Atlanta United.
Sure.
But he needs to push. He needs to get back to where he can come in, as a 70th minute sub and do what he did against Miami, right? Or just kind of bring a little bit of that flair and that magic and the Spider-Man mask. Like, he just gotta, and I do think having a guy that's gonna push him, or really two, in Saba and now Miggy, in front of him, maybe that's a little bit of inspiration. You know, I mean, players they pull motivation and inspiration from different places, but
Yeah.
maybe Shonda's just that kind of guy who needs
to be pushed.
needs to be pushed immensely. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. I just hope he gets it back.
Right.
And he's gonna get minutes. Like him and Mascara both, who at this point are kind of like the next ones up. If you look at, the depth chart right now, it is, Saba on one side, Miggy on the other, and then below them, like the step right below them, would probably be Shonda, Edwin, Mascara. That's how I see it, at least. Like they're definitely going to get minutes. You do have Leagues Cup to worry about, and so when that comes, you're gonna have, you know, you're gonna have some more fixture congestion for sure. And there's where you're going to want to start rotating these players a little bit and mixing a little bit so that you can put out uh, a very strong 11 in most of your games.
Yeah.
I don't know what the priority is going to be. This Leagues Cup is different now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Leagues Cup is different now.
Very different.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how they start prioritizing, Leagues Cup versus the actual league. It's much harder now to progress in Leagues Cup. So how much, resources, energy do you actually want to expend into, winning there versus just, purely going for a very, very good, MLS campaign? It's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But what is true is that they now have better depth at most positions at this point. I think the wings are very solid right now. You have at least 3 players on either side. If you look, well, 2, because you have Luke Brennan.
Yeah.
Oh, you have Ashton Gordon. So yeah, you do have 3 on either side, kind of. Midfield, you got that pretty much down. You got 3 strikers. Really, all you're missing at this point is a fullback, I would say, even though I think it was Dyla that said that they were good on fullbacks. I still think that they could use with another left back, but that's just me. I did put out an updated depth chart on Twitter. If y'all want to see it, I can also drop it into the Scarves and Spikes Discord, which, by the way, access for that, make sure you subscribe to Patreon, support the show.
Yes.
You get to see all our cool stuff, including my depth charts, which are color-coded.
Yes.
Boom. But yeah, like that's the one position I would say that really, really needs help is that left back position. Other than that, this team has solid depth pretty much all around.
Let me kind of add a little more color to the Leagues Cup thing, because that's a good point. Well, as Chris Henderson and Garth Langway said, we need players to help us compete in all these competitions. Granted, Atlanta United aren't in quote a lot of competitions. It's just MLS regular season, Leagues Cup, no Open Cup. But yeah, they need players, and I think you're not going to be able to play Miguel Almiron every single match. So you need someone to step in when he's not available, when he needs a rest, when he's in National League Paraguay. Same thing with Saba and Mosquera. So those are factors that we also need to discuss. With Silva and Mosquera, there could be an as relief for players who don't need or who need rest as the season progresses, as you try to prioritize, okay, who do we want to play just to keep ourselves fresh, keep our players fresh as we progress through the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. Joey on Twitter, X, saying, yeah, absolutely need another outside back. By the way, C3 back up there talking about Miggy story, said his dog is named Miggy.
That's funny.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I agree. I think, like, we all know depth. You have to have depth to be successful in this league. The one obviously big example that you can go back to that everybody's familiar with here is going to be 2018. Like, even when the chips were down, I mean, remember Darlington Nagbe was out for like a long time in 2018.
The adductor injury, yeah.
Yeah, and they still found a way. They still found a way to make it happen. And we all know how big of a deal in the midfield Darlington Nagbe is to this day.
Yeah.
So
that's why depth is important.
You have to have it there. And I saw, and I don't know where it was at, but I saw back up a ways a little bit in the chat, somebody saying it feels like we need a little bit more speed in the midfield because the two Poles, Slish and Click, can't do it all. But you got to remember, you have Jay Fortune there. He's got some wheels on him. And I think you're going to get a lot of your speed from your wings. I think you're going to see a lot of a lot of the progression down the right and left side. And now that you have both, one of the things that we saw in the Chattanooga game that kind of stood out to me as well that we haven't talked about in the other shows was the big switches that we saw attempted, at least. And there quite a few of them were successful.
Yep.
When you have two guys zooming up and down the wings along with attack-minded fullbacks, and then you have, dimes being played over the top of the midfield, that wreaks havoc on the organization of a defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things you're going to see. But anyway, going back to what you were saying, the whole backup situation. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to make it through. And again, that's why I said the other day or yesterday, these preseason games, you need to have these guys that aren't normally going to spend a lot of time playing together. You need to have them playing. They need to develop that chemistry.
Big question is, of course, when Almiron is going to be available. We still don't know about the green card situation. We just don't know about the visa situation. So that's a big question. Hopefully, with him having played, like we've mentioned, the summer series against Chelsea at Mercedes-Benz, and with him having played in the U.S. already / worked in the U.S., that won't hold the process back too much. So hopefully he is ready to go by February 22nd. I imagine Atlanta United will do anything it can and everything it can to push this through as much as possible, because if you look at the calendar today as we're recording this, it's January 30th. So they have about 3 weeks to get this over the line before Atlanta United plays CF Montreal. So that's the big question that we have to ask, is how long this visa thing is going to be resolved. Hopefully not too long, and hopefully Miguel Almiron can be back on the pitch sooner rather than later.
Bruno
3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks.
Not long. Bruno asked at what time does Henry start camping at the airport to wait for me?
You better leave now, Henry.
Actually, he's already here.
Right now.
It might be too late for it now.
He's probably already here. I mean, if the Instagram stories were anything to go off of, he flew. Well, he departed like this morning early, like I want to say like 7 or 6 or something like that.
So
he's definitely already here.
Well, I guess that settles that then.
I mean, look, so our good buddy Glenn from 5 Takes on the 5 Stripes. I'll see if I can get this up on the screen.
While you do that, again, what if he isn't ready before February 22nd? I mean,
I doubt that.
Yeah, but you look at the match after that, it's March 1st against Charlotte FC at Bank of America Stadium, and then they're back home on March 8th. So would it be funny if Miguel Almiron's first match back with Atlanta United was against Charlotte FC? But we do want it to be against CF Montreal on February 21st. But
they are there.
Yeah, so there are obviously a big crowd at the airport waiting for him. Big crowd as we're recording.
I had him landing at like 4:30. I didn't know they were still out there. Is that like an actual thing? Wow.
That's an actual thing. Supporters were there at the airport, at the international terminal, waiting for him to arrive. And as you might expect, a pretty big crowd. Glenn from 5 Takes on the 5 Stripes is there or was there, and he took a picture of it. Tyler, I'm surprised you didn't get up there. I mean, you're in the south side, so it's not.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had to work, but I would love to go see what's up. But we'll get to talk to Miggy tomorrow. So let the fans have their moment right there at the airport. I mean, it's really cool though. Like, remember when Almada got here? And it was like, I think when he came back from the World Cup, he had a cool little entourage of folks show up. Right, it was kind of neat.
Right.
Of course, he also showed up at like 5:30 in the morning or something stupid. But dude, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. This man is a club legend and will always be a club legend. Like, and the fact that you have more than one, but the fact that you have one of those for a club that's as young as Atlanta United is, relatively speaking, shows you what he meant to this city back when he was here the first time. And I hope more than anything, I hope that he and his family see this outpouring of love for this guy, and it does nothing but motivate him even more to
Yeah,
capture that lightning in a bottle again.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, we're gonna obviously continue to talk about this, but Tommy is going to join us now, and I'm sure he has some thoughts about
Jürgen
the signing
Damm.
as well. No, not Jürgen Damm.
Jürgen Damm.
No,
Good.
not Jürgen Damm.
Atlanta.
Bye. Thanks, Tommy.
Tommy is at the
And his
Hawks
daughter.
and Cavaliers game or something, I think.
Hawks and Cavs.
There we go. Always good reporting by
Yeah,
Tommy
great
Reginald News.
cameo from Tommy. But yeah, with Almiron wearing number 10, by the way, presumably, what does that mean? I mean, obviously, it's a big number, a number that, it's no surprise that he's wearing number 10. We all knew that he would. Like, if he wasn't, whoever wears it would be changing. But that number 10 was left open for a reason. There's a reason that Miranchuk isn't wearing it. It's left open for a reason. It tells you that Atlanta United only want to reserve that number for players that they trust, that they value. And now with Miguel Almiron back, naturally wearing that number 10 kit for Atlanta United, a number that's meant so much. He, of course, was the original number 10. Then you had Barco come in as well after that. And after that, Almada. Just so much weight with that jersey in and of itself. So hopefully he wears it well. He already has. Hopefully he wears it well again. And I imagine, guys, those things will be flying off the shelves.
That has to be.
Michael Parkhurst already has one.
I know, right? That has to be a number one seller.
He knows,
or
people.
At least in the top 5 for the year. I mean, because he is the top 3 winger. But no, I think it's obvious, right? Like how many people? I mean, you even see in that picture there's a couple of people wearing like old school Mickey jersey, and it only makes sense that I think somebody put it on Twitter earlier, and it's the best way to describe it. But those things are going to sell like hotcakes. Yep. They're going to fly off the shelves. I hope they're already printing tons of them right now.
Yeah,
because it's going to be off the chain.
I'm sure. Absolutely sure. Well, I mean, any other thoughts about the move? I feel like we covered a lot of ground. It's like 27 and a half minutes in. What are we thinking?
I think we've said all that has to be said.
Anybody?
We're super excited, and we just can't wait to see him on the Mercedes-Benz Stadium turf again.
Yeah. I'm hyped, man. For everybody listening, keep an eye on our social medias tomorrow, Twitter/X, whatever, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook,
the whole 9 yards,
Instagram, because we'll get to meet Miggy again tomorrow, and we'll be chatting with them at the Benz. So just an exciting time, man. Just be thrilled about it. By the way, don't expect Latte Life that to be, I think, official. I just can't imagine Atlanta United stepping on their own like club legend returning. I think give it.
Oh, by the way,
yeah,
record-breaking signing.
Yeah. And honestly, it's funny though because like even though he's going to break records for incoming transfer fee, if they were to do it now, the headline's still Miggy, and that's no offense. That's how big the guy is here. Yeah. So let's go. I'm freaking hyped, man. I just want to see him get on the ball in Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the first time with space in front of him and just hear that crowd go insane. Just waiting for that that tension, that palpable moment where he fires off a shot and hopefully we're all blessed enough to see it hit the back of the net in that very first game. But just when he gets on the ball,
he scores in the seat of the
I think he does too.
He has to.
Even if he doesn't, that moment that he gets on the ball with that space in front of him and starts running like an ostrich, that is going to be electric inside the games, and I cannot wait.
Can't wait. Big stuff. Big day for Atlanta United.
Yep. Big times.
Big day.
Patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. Go join up. Come in there, jump in the Discord with us, hang out. It's a good time. Got all other benefits as well. Discount on merch. We got other, training ground updates and stuff that happen. We'll have some stuff on there tomorrow from the Bens. Scarvesandspikes.com. Sydney has a good article up about Atlanta United being back. I have the announcement with some other details for Miggy. We got stuff going up there all the time.
Yes.
The shop is on there as well. And then finally, even if you don't listen via audio, and we've said this and we're going to keep saying it, even if you don't listen via audio after the fact, go to a podcatcher that you do like, whatever it may be, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Find our new feed, Scarves and Spikes, and Atlanta United Podcast is what you can type in. Take a screenshot, tag us on social media, and that enters you into a chance to win a $25 gift card.
Do it. We want to give away that gift card.
Yes, we
We
do.
still will, but yeah,
It'll help you. It'll help you toward that Miguel Almiron jersey.
Yeah, $150 Almiron jersey.
There's 25 of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
knock a little bit off.
No, this was fun. Glad we could get a chance to talk about this. And again, big day for Atlanta United. Big day for Atlanta United fans. Happy to hear it. And yeah, like you guys, I'm looking forward to seeing him back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium sooner rather than later. But yeah, thanks for joining us, whether you're watching or listening.
Absolutely. Good times. We appreciate it.